Is there anything else you want to say when you saw the speech? Like, did you see that speech saying there was 10% of it that was good? There was, this part of it that was good, because one party's talking MAGA. The other part is, I'm not just the president for the Democrats. I'm a Democrat president for the left and the right and the middle. I want to be the president for everybody. You can't say that, but at the same time, you take shots at an organization.
Again, look, I want to be respectful of Americans, so I can only say I was just personally deeply distressed as an observer from the other side of the world, as I see America as the leader of the free world and critical to our future. And I loathe division. I hate the idea of division. So what I saw was, yes, some appeal to some higher ideals, but that was to sort of almost set up the attack on people who have a different set of opinions as apparently being responsible for smashing those ideals, rather than to say, how can we sit down and talk through and recommit to those ideals? And I found myself thinking, this is a surprisingly fluent speech, because I haven't seen a lot of fluent speeches. I usually see the cards, or we hear him repeating bits that are on the auto cue. Mm-hmm. A genuine question, would he have had some sort of device there for auto cues, screens in front? Because it was quite fluent.
Yeah, I think you make a great point here, and I'm going to give a couple different perspectives here. I hear so many people basically saying, Joe Biden can't speak anymore. Okay, he's got dementia. He can't even get words out of his mouth. He was pretty clear for an hour. People understood what he was saying.
23 minutes, 22 minutes.
Okay, so half hour almost. Point is, he gave a long speech. So on one side of things, people are saying he can't speak. He's in the basement hiding. Well, he's out there. I don't think it was necessarily a speech that will live in infamy. However, this is the thing that he's missing. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country. Okay. MAGA is the new Republican Party. Okay. What's Donald Trump's approval ratings within the Republican Party? 90%? Tyler, you would know this.
Yeah, it's close to 90%.
Okay. So the Republican Party that we knew, the George W. Bush previous Republican, Dick Cheney, that establishment, that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. That's gone.
But does a Republican Party of Truman and Clinton, a Democratic Party of Truman and Clinton exist anymore?
Arguably.
They would say it does.
But to be specifically about the Republicans, the old Republican Guard does not exist. The Liz Cheneys of the world, the Adam Kinzers of the world, the Dick Cheneys of the world, the Mitt Romneys of the world, the George W. Bush, gone. This is Trump's party, whether it's good or bad. He controls the party. So what Biden is missing is, quote unquote, the MAGA Republicans, or that is the new Republican Party. It's not a fringe element of the Republicans.
So your point is that it really is an attack on a vast number of
That's what I'm saying,
Americans.
is that 80 million people voted for Trump, and of the Republicans, 75 million people is who we're talking about here. So it's a mixed messaging. So that's maybe what I don't know, clearly somebody was telling him what to say, wrote the speech, what have you. But that is what resonates the most with me about this, is that the misunderstanding that the Republican Party is now the MAGA party. The previous party is now gone. The rhinos, gone.
You know when's the only time a speech like this works? When you know for a fact you have a big lead. You can't talk like this when you don't have a lead. He doesn't have a lead. You have to try to show a different side. You can't talk like this when you don't have a lead. He does not have a lead. So it's got to come from a different angle. It's got to come from an angle to try to win people over.
When I started out in politics, my predecessor in I don't know what you'd call it, district, but in my electorate, he was a wise man, a very good man. And he said, no, but as you kick off, John, there's something you need to understand. He said, half the people who voted for you will love you, and half the people that voted for you won't.
That voted for you.
Yeah. And half the people who didn't vote for you will hate you, but half of them will actually think you're a very good person. Don't antagonize the people who did not vote for you. Many of them will have different perspectives, and they may not have been able to put their tick against your name, but they're fine Australian.
Yes.
I fully agree with that.
I agree.
And you said, this is what distressed me about the speech as a former practitioner. Look, I'm just from a little country and I was only the deputy. I wasn't the president of the United States. But I look at it as a really concerned, deeply committed person when it comes to democracy and freedom. And I think this guy, what he says is, words are bullets. And there are all those Americans out there who voted for... I just don't think Trump was the problem, as people say. so much as the product of the problem. If you've got fellow Americans who feel so alienated, so left behind, so dismissed by today's elites, including, we were talking about capitalism, you know, the tech billionaires or squillionaires who seem to be quite contemptuous of little people. It's as though they're the problem. They want their plasma TVs and their jet skis and their Chevy Suburbans, and they're the enemy of the planet. So while I get wealthier and I'm not going to give up any of my lifestyle, and I'll jet around the world to climate change conferences, and I'll live in a mansion, and I'll have several holiday houses scattered around the world, and I'm a global citizen. You people who, by the way, just happen to feed me and keep the transportation system working and educate my kids and police the streets, you're just scum. You're the enemy. That sort of contempt is extant in all of our countries. I'm not singling out the United States. Please don't hear me say that. I'm saying I think it's a real problem for social harmony, and democracy depends upon social harmony. Depends on trust. It depends on respect for the other person.
Yep.
When you have a debate, it should be as fierce as you like. I mean, I've listened with respect to what Patrick's saying, with all really, because sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
We don't have to agree on everything.
Right.
But we can have a fierce argument on the things we might disagree on. But in the end, we're fellow human beings.
Right.
And if we lose sight of that, and if some people are scum, they're the enemy and Gaia, the goddess Earth or whatever, we start to paint them that way, no wonder they're going to hit out.
Of course.
So what's the Commander-in-Chief's job to do? Make sure he's actually got his army behind him, not a great slab of them wanting to, overturn the system.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.